Okay, now we get to probably my favorite part of the album. Yeah, there are like so many great interviews on YouTube. I mean, as much as I prefer to stick with like the light and funny interviews. I mean, Jonathan Ross was like just one of the best examples of that. But some of my favorites are like where I don't know, they get kind of deep and they get kind of serious at the same time. But yeah, Inside the Actors Studio was probably one of the first ones I watched, if not the first one, just to like, I don't know, get kind of a sense of Robert's career and such. And that was probably where I found out about the album. Yeah, James Lipton cited Little Clownz as his favorite track, and he kind of asked Robert about it, like what it's about, and he said that it was about that essential desire to have hope, like never give up and always hold on to like whatever. Anyway, it turns out that this was like one of the songs I would keep coming back to, and it kind of meant something to me, especially like last year, 2011 was kind of rough. I mean, I'm coming up, like today is kind of like 2 years since I've kind of been unemployed and looking, and it's been pretty hard even getting through the door in some places, like not being experienced enough, not being like, I don't know, eloquent enough, not like being much of a people person. But yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out what I really want to do, and I still haven't figured that out yet. And whatever it is, writing's going to be a huge part of it, because it feels like the only thing I'm really good at, the thing I really know how to do. But with 2011 was like a tough year, and then I think Robert helped a little bit with that, like kind of keeping me sane, like at least having something I can fall back on. If things are kind of rough, I can chill with him no matter what I'm watching or listening to. Yeah, he kind of helped me in that way. But this song had like so many good moments to it, and there was, his character really shows, and there's a lot of personality that I get out of like some of his line delivery, like just the way he says apocalyptic in one particular lyric that it drives me crazy every time I listen to it, because it's like, oh, this is like, his personality really shines. And another powerful thing, I guess, is the ending, like the strings come in, it's like this really powerful ending, and I get swept up in it like a lot. Like I've caught myself teary-eyed a bunch of times, and usually it doesn't last long enough, like the pause between this track and the next one, for me to like really like completely lose it. Usually 5:30 will just start a few seconds afterwards, and they'll pick me up again. And interestingly, he said it was like one of the first songs he wrote, but it evolved over time, and it started when he was saying that it was about a guy who found out he was in like this dark, negative place, and then by the end of it, he kind of realizes things aren't so bad after all. I'm not alone in this. And there's a lot of personality here that makes me smile, like just the accent in his voice, like during the chorus. I really get into the keystrokes that kind of push the song through. I like a whole bunch. I mean, it's oddly I feel like one of the more positive songs on the record, which is kind of like a little between melodrama, a little melancholy in places, but yeah, it's pretty good. And then after that, I mean, usually I skip right onto the next track. I didn't even upload like Your Move on my iPod. It's kind of like a cover song, and I really don't connect with that nearly as much as like the rest of it. Don't feel like there's enough of him in there. It's like really relate to, I guess. Supposedly it's like, I don't know. He says it was like done by a band called Yes, and there are like bits and pieces from Give Peace a Chance or something like that by like Lennon and McCartney, but I never really connected with it. And maybe in a couple years I will, but I never really understood, so I just pretty much skip it. But there's another cover song like later on in the album where obviously he kind of had to do, but at the same time it's like he does bring a good message to it, I guess. So I think I'll stop this video here, and then I'll finish up with the last 3 tracks on part 4.